hand over to my best man. Well, please put your hands together for Mr. Alex.
I wouldn't want to follow that guy.
Just don't cry.
I'm not going to get that out. Is this microphone going to be any better than with you two? Let's hope not. So thank you for that overwhelming smatter of applause, which I assume was directed at me, not Mike. And thank you for my warm-up act. This is actually doing something. I did actually put in a slightly glib comment about what a wonderful day it was when I was writing in my living room, sat in my pants. And it doesn't seem to do it justice, because it was the most wonderful day. I mean, it couldn't have been better, really. So I'll miss that bit. Now, despite my undeniably hilarious banter, I'm writing, I don't care. I did feel considerable pressure writing this speech, and I suspect, as this is mostly through being explicitly told so, there were quite high expectations for today. It was only this morning that I in fact got my speech back from Sarah's free proofreading. This was for some reason insisted upon. I got that. Messed out, man. But fortunately, I kept it back up. In a sweatproof bag. Those of you who know me. And an envelope, just in case. Printed out, not at the last minute. It does. Let's find out. I'll now re-include all the horrible jokes about it. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Alex, and through some anomaly in the selection process, possibly some administration error oversight, and the groom's social inadequacies, I am the best man. In all honesty though, I'm not really the best man. I'm just a bloody brilliant bloke.
Here.
That's environmental rather than genetic. Not you, Mum, I know you hate me.
I'm only half to play.
How would one spot the first half of the sentence? Anyway, Mike is the true best man, of course. Would be more vomity than that. I realised when writing this speech, I've actually known Mike over half my life. I first met him at school, and here he tried to heighten his level of cool with his ice white Metro. I'm not entirely sure what year it was made, but I think the front half was around 94 and the back half was around 92. This is the same car where Mike, a distinguished engineer, actually pioneered the first car with keyless entry. It was a quick jimmy with a teaspoon hidden in the fuel cap that would open any of the doors. Yeah, it's more valuable than the car. And we did in fact spend a considerable amount of time together after school, given the proximity of our two universities. Just a 20-minute walk, or a 45-minute drive from Mike. You won't elaborate. Separated the two, so we continued to destroy our livers in tandem. It was his unerring dedication to drinking that allowed him to create a beer wall, which, for those of you who don't know, is a series of beer cans erudited together and then erudited to the hall's wall. In such a short period of time. I don't believe he even lost his deposit when this was removed from the wall, which actually took quite a lot of the wall with it. I think he then smashed over Simon's head, but anyway. Then continuing the trend of not being able to shake each other off, he then got me a job at high-flying KME. So don't tell me nepotism doesn't pay. Yeah, you owe me. I think the recommendation of, yeah, he's alright, was enough to secure me a position there. So I hope this speech gives you an equal self-esteem boost that your effusive cascade of praise offered me. It can safely be said that through the years of a young man's life where their personality is moulded, we shared a good number of experiences together. So basically, and to sum up, if this isn't funny, it's his fault. Stole my joke earlier. I've lost my place now. I haven't actually been to many weddings, nor have I seen many best man speeches, so I had to do some research on what being the best man entailed. It was my job to do the old cliche of getting into the Lemon Grove on time, sober and looking good. And I think 1 out of 3 is not bad for the first. The second part was apparently to point out all the facets in Mike's character that should have meant that Sarah should have run a mile rather than marry him. I could tell that Mike knew this when he told me in a not unthreatening tone that I'd be next, and any embarrassment I caused him would be returned tenfold. I'd say that, Lizzie, that's not a proposal in any way. I know he meant it too. At the time, he simultaneously discovered a clothes peg on his clothing that meant a tactical nuclear penguin, which is a 32% proof beer, on the stag do, was put in front of him. If looks could kill, then the one eye that was still capable of maintaining focus certainly had made. It is also part of the official duty of the best man to thank Mike on behalf of the bridesmaids, Charlie, Alex, Helen and Kirsty, for his kind words, for having the prayer part in this very special day. They all look absolutely wonderful, I suspect dictated to by Sarah. They have done an excellent job.
Basically dress.
Don't I know? Indeed, they are only eclipsed by Sarah herself. Who I'm sure you'll all agree looks absolutely stunning, an almost ethereal beauty gracing us with her near presence. And Mike, bless his heart, has tried the best with what he's got. Mike, I believe what you've achieved right there is called turd polishing. It's a lot nicer than you thought so far, though, isn't it? And this really is the most stunning venue to be spending the rest of your lives together, or to start spending the rest of your lives together with. I think you have to leave at some point. There will have been a certain amount of pressure as a result of the bride's 3 decades of wedding planning. But I'm sure Sarah will agree this surpasses anything she could have hoped for. I'd also like to thank Mike for choosing me to be the best man. 7 scotches are creeping up on me now. I did think that Mike marrying Sarah meant that he was starting to make good decisions in life, but the best man's choices show that I'm way off with that one too. Every silver lining has a cloud, and this speaks as that, I'm afraid. I'm only joking. Mike is never one to admit he's wrong, so I'm proud of him finally admitting that I am the best man. I'm actually embarrassingly inexperienced when it comes to weddings and the traditions and possible cliches of the best man speeches. I had toyed with the idea of writing a song, but someone pointed out that Tom from McFly had already done this, so I certainly didn't want to copy. Then I thought maybe a poem might be appropriate. I didn't know Terry was doing that as well. For the life of me, I couldn't find anything that would rhyme with Scotch, Big Nose, or Henpeck Lazy Workshop Malingering. So I gave up with that too. I would obviously like to congratulate Mike and Sarah on their marriage. Since you guys met, this has clearly been on the cards. You've made such a wonderful couple. You've managed to survive living together, something which involved Mike basically destroying half the rooms in the house before anything was even moved in. Which I don't think Sarah was annoyed about at all. That was one of the times you got me to move all your crap around. And of course, renovating the bathroom. Oh, you've all heard of that. A job dwarfing the construction of the Severn Bridge, the Panama Canal, and the International Space Station, both in its complexity and time taken to complete. And of course you survived the even more major step of giving up smoking together. Possibly the less said about that, the better. Mike has been a great friend to me though. Throughout the years of my chronic yet utterly mysterious single life, they would always... That wasn't a joke! Anyway, as I was saying. They would always welcome me around on a Saturday night for Sarah's favourite activity of beer and PlayStation. In fact, in hindsight, I can now blame me being single so long on seeing such a wonderful relationship that made my expectations unrealistic. That was definitely the reason. Mike has always been there for me, offering me relationship advice, support whenever it is required. For those of you who know me, you'll know this has only been relevant very recently. That's beside the point. Since meeting Lizzie, though, he's always been particularly emphatic on the importance of standing my ground, making sure there's no doubt who's boss in the relationship. And this is especially true of the important things. So, on reflection, particularly today, it's easy to see where he's coming from. For those of you who have visited their flat in Maidstone, you may know what I'm talking about. There was a note stuck on the fridge. Thank you, that wasn't scripted. For those of you who don't know, soon after Mike and Sarah moved into their flat in Maidstone, a ferociously exact and specific life plan appeared on their fridge.
Oh my god.
And you hit it round the corner. We found it. Detailing marriage dates, locations to move to, and dates to have children by. To be honest, I never turned it over, but it may well have included years 5 to 10 as well. Mike, though, putting into practice his own tips for relationship defiance, has managed to turn this rigid, autocratic, and exact 5-year plan into a rigid, autocratic, and exact 6-year plan. There you go, Mike. So it's 2 out of 3 so far. What's next? Motorbiking, isn't it? In the same way that you've always been there for me with relationship advice, whether it be needed or requested, I'd also like to be there with you for some advice on marriage. I now feel in a position to offer this with an almost drunken confidence, having found someone willing to tolerate me, and you forced me to have this stage in front of your friends and loved ones. Your fault. As you go through life, always remember to love each other, cherish each other, and be there for each other. Never forget to say you're sorry, and never go to bed angry. By that I mean always stay up for a good argument. No, I'm not even married. Even with my relatively short relationship, I know all this to be a load of rubbish. It's just a spot of generic advice to get you started. I mean, to be honest, the only one that's valid is the apology one. And that obviously just applies to you and not her. In fact, I should probably save time later and just apologise to Lizzie for this speech. anything you've taken exception to in anyone else's speech, and probably the condition I'll inevitably be in later on. Do we always mean these apologies? Yes, we do. Just remember, Mike, if you're clever, you'll have the last word. If you're really clever, you won't use it. They, of course, make a wonderful couple, and will both bring out the best in each other. Sarah's fanatical attention to detail will give Mike the direction he needs, and Mike's complete disorganisation will give them the spontaneity that can facilitate some of the best moments life can offer. Mike's dedication to Sarah cannot be questioned. People shouldn't underestimate the magnitude of him being out of bed before 12. I mean, in preparation for this speech, I asked him to describe himself in 3 words, to which he replied, lazy. 3 of you got that joke. He really does. Yeah, you got it, yeah, we come from good stock. something awful. He really does love to sleep though. It's his own personal time machine to an hour it's socially acceptable to drink scotch again. This was indeed to be a special day though. Crudities and innuendos were to be removed, and I agreed if there was anything of that nature in speech, including anything of huge length, I'd whip it out immediately. I found Steve's level. I've lost my place again. There are also to be no embarrassing stories. This, I assume, meant I couldn't bring up him being dressed as a baby in full nappy regalia in the gay capital of the world. And nor could I bring up him being drunk and underage and beating up a member of the army.
Operation Gecko.
I think there's a film, isn't there now?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
CCTV.
Yeah.
There also seemed to be little point in reminding of the time he was drunkenly looking for a lawsuit jacket at a wedding in tears. Which about 7 people came and told me about. So there's another proud moment for you there, big man. So given this is the case, I'd like for you all to be upstanding to toast Mike Bubby Cunningham. Bubby Cunningham. Here's to love, laughter and happiness, growing old on one pillow until the first day of the rest of your lives. It's always best to finish on a quote, so as Oscar Wilde said, the man who says his wife can't take a joke forgets that she took him. To Mike and Sarah.